been chasing a slight overheating problem in this V8 Mercedes. This is a 380 engine. And what I'm going to explain here is pretty common with a lot of these old V8s from the early 70s right up into the very early 1990s. But you know, it would run up to 90 or so, but when it idled, it would almost get to 100. And when you see that happening, you need to take care of it. It's not good to let these engines run hot. And we noticed that the fan was running at a slow speed at idle, and then the more I played around with this fan clutch, now it got a little looser than this even when it was hot. You need to check this both hot and cold, but the best thing to do is just grab a hold of your fan and spin it. And if it spins like that, it's too loose. You should let go of it and it should just stop. It really shouldn't spin. Now when this engine was hot, I should have filmed it then, this would spin about half a revolution. For the past few months, I've been thinking about providing my customers with a fan clutch replacement kit for those older V8s, particularly the 380 and 560 SL engines. These are really popular cars, and I'm seeing a lot of problems with these fan clutches. They just get old, like this one. They hardly even blow at idle, and that was the case with my own 380 SL, so I used my own 380 SL to install a new aftermarket fan clutch. New originals are very difficult to find if you can even find them, and they're very, very expensive. So one of the things I found out right away when I got this aftermarket clutch, one thing is very tight. That's nice. Very, very tight. But look at this. I tried to use the original bolts and they won't go in. You can't get them in the hole. I can imagine how frustrating that would be if a customer buys this fan clutch and can't use the bolts, because these are very special bolts. They're large threaded bolts with small heads, so you can get a wrench on there. So what I've done in my kit, I've sourced new bolts. The correct bolt, you have to kind of wiggle them in, but they'll go in there. Plenty of thread to get into the water pump. And I'm going to provide some thread locker with this kit, so that when you attach the clutch to the fan, you use the thread locker, and just a very small amount on these bolts, because you may have to get them out in the future. You just don't want them to back out while the engine's running. And while I was working on this, getting down in there, a standard wrench works, but we got together here in the shop and decided to make a special tool to make it easier. It's the comfort. You know, trying to get down in there and grabbing the end of an open-end wrench, it's kind of hard on your hand, so I like comfort when I'm working with tools. So this will be an extra thing we'll offer. It won't be provided with the kit, but if you want this 10mm comfortable wrench. And we all know that 10mm can be used almost anywhere on these old Mercedes. So that's the kit right there, and we'll be offering that here soon, and we'll make sure that we spell it exactly what models this applies to in the product description. So if you're interested, just check the links in the description below this video. Look at that fan movement now. I wish I would have filmed this with the old fan in there before I took it out, but this thing's really blowing. I can feel it back here. Maybe this will give you an example of just how much air is being moved here. You can see there's a lot of air now coming from that fan. Before I put my hand down here, I hardly felt anything. And now for the good news, let's go look at that temperature gauge. I took it for a long test drive, and it's been sitting here idling for about 10 minutes. Look at that, right at just under 85 degrees. I just love it when you have this kind of success.